Hello everyone, this is part 15 of What If Naruto Leaves Konoha and Awakens Lava and Boil release, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. 4.5 months later 000. Uzumaki Compound. Inner Estate. Azukage's bed chambers. Naruto Uzumaki stood before a mirror within his bed chambers. He was finishing up the final preparations of his traditional Uzumaki clothing for the big event today. Mei had insisted that he wear civilian clothes for the wedding and she would hear no complaining from him. He gave himself a critique of the outfit as he turned to observe the whole thing. Well, I suppose it's alright. The baggy, red pants are made of a fine silk and reach all the way to my sandals. They have gold embroidery along the pant leg of a plant of vine and they are very comfortable to wear. The shirt itself is similar to Mei's top. It's a very loose red shirt with a single sleeve on one side. It also has the golden vine design that starts from the C up along to my shoulder and coming to a stop at my wrist. Just as he finished, another presence entered the room. He turned to see a hooded figure. The red cloak it wore made it difficult to distinguish any characteristics about the person beneath. He looked to where the face should have been but instead was met by a mask, very similar to Madara Uchiha's. Yet, instead of an orange swirl with a single eye, this person had a crimson-red mask that allowed both eyes to see. Sir, the security has been organized. Your wedding will begin in approximately 10 minutes and the others are waiting outside to escort you and Mei to the beach. Naruto smoothed out his shirt once more before smiling at the hurricane. Thank you, Kase. I will be out in a minute. The figure bowed and exited the room as silently and quickly as it had first come. The Azu Hurricane Squad, probably the most interesting addition I made in our forces. I chose only 6 members, 2 from each of the dominant clans. 1 female and male from each clan are inducted into the squad with the chief objective to protect me, the Azukage. They are the elite, above even the Anbu in power yet unable to match a full-fledged Kage alone. The names have been erased though, so I must call them by their code names. That one I spoke to was from the Uzumaki so I called him, Kase, for wind, as the maelstrom of a hurricane is from the wind. I better not keep Mei waiting, besides she is the one that knows about the traditions more than I do. Naruto had never been to a wedding before back in his days in Kiri and Konoha. Most often those who were ninja and loved each other often chose to remain as lovers or engaged to lessen the blow of losing someone so dear. Mei insisted that Uzumaki traditional weddings were much different from anything he would have known about and were the epitome of unconditional love ceremonies. The Uzumaki in the past were not spiritual in any way so the word, marriage, was often considered the incorrect word to use. A bond of love taken to the highest degree, that's what Mei said at least. As long as it means I get to be with her for the rest of my life, I don't care what I have to do. Having wasted enough time, Naruto moved away from the mirror and walked towards the door. On his way out, he passed by the small crib that he had built a few weeks ago for the baby. It was made of wood and was colored a deep crimson red. His soon-to-be wife had dolled it up considerably in her spare time, which was a lot because of her lack of duties, and had placed small Uzumaki swirls and other symbols littering the small bed for the baby. Little Roshi loved it, but our little boy always seems to be smiling. Mei took him downstairs. He will be attending the wedding with us. Yes, the little baby had been a boy and Naruto and Mei had never been so proud upon his birth exactly a month ago. The doctors told them that he was completely healthy with no problems, and they confirmed that the child had the Uzumaki bloodline within him, furthering their pride. He opened his door to come face to face with his 6 shadows. The hurricanes all were wearing the identical cloaks and masks, making it difficult for him to tell them apart. Only after getting to know them all was he able to pick out each clan's separate traits that allowed him to distinguish them. Ready, sir? Asked one of the Ranmaru. They represented the eye of the storm with their all-seeing bloodline. Yes, is my family downstairs? They all nodded and Naruto walked past them to head down the staircase. All 6 fell into step behind him. As he stepped onto the first floor, Naruto peered around a corner to look into the family room. Mei was sitting on the couch, happily be little Roshi. Her folk outfit remained the same as her Jonin uniform, it settled as both. He lightly tapped his fingers on the wall to get her attention away from the baby. Mei looked up in curiosity to find Naruto looking over at her and the baby with a fatherly smile, one of pride. She smiled and looked down at the baby when she felt him stop sucking. It appeared Roshi had fallen asleep from her lullaby she had been humming. Mei made herself decent and gently lifted herself up, beginning her walk towards Naruto who was leaning on the door frame now. Mei, he looks just like you. Naruto whispered lovingly as she approached, bringing out a bright smile from the woman. It was true that at a distance, Roshi could pass off as a clone of his mother. With his russet red hair and smooth features, the baby really was a male image of her. Now, you can't rule yourself out of him entirely. She whispered back, playfully using a finger to point at his closed eyes. Naruto smirked. The baby had inherited Naruto's striking blue eyes as well as show some early personality traits just like his own. Mei had noted that while feeding him, he just didn't stop until he fell asleep or his stomach began to ache. It seemed as though the boy would have Naruto's stubborn determination, something Mei wasn't too excited about for when he grew older. Quote, the Anbu Corps had been watching over the city from the rooftops as they had walked by. Their orders were to keep eyes out for any threats to the Azukage and nothing else. They gathered at the village gate upon the population's exit and seemed to wait for someone's arrival. Sir, every Anbu present turned to salute the one shinobi that had just arrived. His armor was hidden behind a red cloak similar to the hurricanes and his face was covered by a white swirl mask. All right, the villagers have left with the Azukage. Our job is to keep an eye on him so let's not fall behind, move out. Yes sir. The shinobi in front of him disappeared and the general looked around for a moment before walking through the open gate to meet up with the Azukage. No way am I going to miss this wedding. Al thought with a smirk as he jumped through the trees to the beach. 000. Azu Island. Beach. Naruto and Mei stood in front of the large congregation of people to announce the beginning of the wedding. The blonde peered past them to see dozens of lava monkeys hiding within the trees, also curious about the ceremony. He had invited them as well and it seemed that they would come to watch as well. People of Azu. Naruto quickly got their attention and the chatter down. Today is a most glorious day for us. My fiancée Mei Uzumaki and myself will be embarking onto the greatest path anyone could choose for themselves, eternal bondage. Our love together is too strong for us to remain as we are, you can see the fruits of it from our child right in the crowd. Naruto pointed out Roshi who was in the arms of one of the female hurricanes, albeit her occupation she held him reverently and lovingly as if she was his mother. The people clapped and applauded as they did on the night he was born. Naruto and Mei held each other close as they heard the applause given to their son and themselves. The happiness was overwhelming as the couple stood before their people. Naruto, now would be a good time to go get Kakashi. Mei whispered in his ear and he nodded. Shadow clone. Naruto quickly replaced himself with a shadow clone before he teleported away to Konoha to find his old teacher and friend Kakashi Hatake. 000. Konoha. Training fields. Naruto appeared at the place of where Kakashi was supposedly. He had placed a seal on him long ago just in case of a contingency, he was glad he remembered it for this occasion. He took in his surroundings, he was standing in a green field apparently within Konoha. There was 3 wooden stakes in the ground and that immediately told him that this was training ground 7. Naruto. The Azukage turned to find Kakashi sitting under a tree. He was reading his Ika book when he saw Naruto appear in a yellow flash. His one revealed eye was widened in surprise, he had not been expecting the boy in Konoha for any reason. Hey Kakashi. Naruto walked over to the man and picked him up by the vest, surprising the man as he was lifted off the ground. You wanna be my best man? The question threw Kakashi for a loop, what was he talking about? Wait, you are getting married. When? Naruto smirked. Right now. Without another word, the two disappeared in a silver out off yellow flash. 000. Azu Island. Beach. The wait for the people had only been a minute or so when Naruto and Kakashi appeared in a flash. Naruto was smiling upon his return while Kakashi looked half-s and ready to puke. He dropped to his knees and held his stomach with his hand. Mei could sympathize with him as she had been in the same position not too long ago. Next time, give me more warning. Kakashi ground out, Trying to take deep breaths to keep from vomiting, Naruto scratched the back of his head in embarrassment. Hee. Sorry about that. But now that we are back, Mei and I can begin. Naruto walked over to Mei and took her hand with his own as Kakashi joined the crowd in watching. Mei began to speak and explain the ritual to those gathered. Many of the Uzumaki gathered here today will have only heard of this bonding ritual from their parents or grandparents, so I will explain. Naruto and I will walk across the whirlpool fields barefoot and only we may cross. You all must remain here. Once we reach the center of the largest whirlpool, we will stand on the edge of it and say our vows to one another. Upon their completion, we will begin to walk over the abyss of the whirlpool. If our union is made of true feelings, the whirlpool will calm beneath our feet and allow us to walk across unharmed. If it isn't, Mei looked to Naruto and back to Roshi, tightening her grip of his hand. The whirlpool will intensify and swallow us, bringing our lives to their end. The people gasped, Uzumaki and other alike. What? You can't do that, it's too risky. We can't lose our Azukage just like that. There must be something else. Let them do it. The crowd centered on Kakashi, who had grown annoyed by the crowd's concern. While it was necessary to worry about your cage if he or she was in danger, you must be able to put faith in him as well. Why should we listen to you? You were the one that denied our village along with your Hokage. Yeah, why are you even here? I'm here because Naruto wants me to be. While I am still not sure if he can handle the duties of a cage, I know damn well that he is a good honest man about his feelings. I don't believe that there is any chance of them. It's because I have confidence in them. Naruto and Mei smiled at Kakashi and looked to see the crowd slowly come around. We shall start the ritual now. Naruto and Mei walked over to their baby and kissed him one last time before taking off the shoes and walking across the water. Never did they allow their hands to separate as they went out into the sea. The people watched as the figures became small blurs in the distance and could only wait and watch. Kakashi watched for a time before going over to the Hurricanes, who were probably the most worried of all. The duty was to protect the Azukage, yet they were not allowed to accompany him and it hurt them inside. He walked up to the woman who held the baby and began to smile as he looked at how the baby looked like a perfect combination of the parents. May I hold him? Kakashi asked politely, fully expecting a rebuke from the masked redhead. She looked at the baby and then back at Kakashi before slowly reaching her arms out to hand the baby over. Kakashi's eyes widened as he slowly took the baby into his own arms and held him. Please be careful with Roshi, he truly is the pride and joy of those two. Kakashi glanced at her and nodded, unable to keep his eyes off the baby he had unknowingly begun to rock. I can't believe my student had a kid before I did. He even became the leader of a village, wow. Kakashi just couldn't believe how far Naruto had come. It was at this point he realized that he should have followed his own beliefs back at the meeting. He shouldn't have just abandoned Naruto like that, he should have believed in him. Naruto, you have long surpassed me in all ways. The torch has already been passed without me even knowing it. He looked out to see where the two small blurs remained stationary near the whirlpool. He looked back down at the baby. Now you just have to come back and give this little one here the family and love it deserves and lead these people the way we all know you can. Come on Naruto. 000. Azu Island. Eastern Whirlpool Fields. Naruto and Mei stood facing one another, hand in hand next to the abyss of a whirlpool. The diameter was over a mile in length, making it one of the largest to ever exist. They did not notice though, they only had eyes for each other during such a loving ceremony. What next, Mei? Naruto asked tenderly, her hands with his fingers. She smiled at his actions. Next is the bee infusion to the whirlpool. We both see our finger and let the bee drop into the whirlpool, therefore allowing it to recognize us. We then bring the fingers to our lover's mouth and let them suck the remaining bee clean. This represents our willingness to give each other everything because bee is literally our life force and one of the most important things to any warrior. Naruto nodded in understanding before releasing one of her hands to bite this thumb. Mei took her free hand back to do the same. They bit their thumbs and moved them so that the fingers were just over the edge of the abyss. Naruto and Mei watched as the bee slowly dripped and fell into the swirling vortex, intermingling with one another in a red pool before losing themselves to the blue water. The thumbs were brought back and then gently placed on the lips of their partners. Naruto took Mei's slender thumb into his mouth and licked the copper-tasting fluid away from the sea before swallowing. Mei did the same to his and repeated the process until the sea no longer bled, leaving them to rejoin hands and wait for the next part. Now we say our vows to one another. Again, vows might not be the best word to describe it, but the action functions as the same. We tell each other why we are together and what our lives will continue to be while we are married. Naruto could only watch in wonder as Mei took his hands close to her heart and began to speak softly. Naruto, I love you with all my heart. When I first met you over 3 years ago, I thought you were just another silly boy chasing a foolhardy dream. As I see now, my first impressions were very wrong of just what you were capable of. From the start, my feelings for you grew, as did my passion to see you succeed in your dream of bringing Azu back from nothing. Our child together was the single most outstanding gift you have ever given me, and I can't wait for you to gift me again. Mei playfully waggled her eyebrows and Naruto blushed in response. May I never be separated from you in any way, shape, or form. I only wish to be with you and only you for the rest of my days as Mei Uzumaki. Our times that we live in now are sorrowful and fraught with danger, but within my heart I hold out hope that is as strong as my love for you and Roshi. That hope is that one day you will lead us onward to a better day, you will bring peace to this world. I have hope for this because I know you, and I know your love for this world's people is strong. Naruto Uzumaki, I am yours. By this time, both their eyes had garnered tears and now they were free to spill as the lovers stood there with one another. 000. Azu Island. Beach. The people waited with heated anxiety, they wanted to know if the Azukage had lived or not. The people had lost track of the small blurs that had constituted as Mei and Naruto and were now unsure whether they were alive or not. Ao and the Anbu had finally revealed themselves instead of hiding amongst the trees. They stood near the Azu Hurricanes and Kakashi at the front of the welcoming committee. They could have at least told us how long this would take. Ao mumbled underneath his mask, unhappy with the wait. One of the Anbu with a suspiciously familiar sword turned toward the general and laughed a bit. His mask was that of a flounder, the fish that his sword was based off of. Now our senpai, isn't it best we allow them to have their time together? This is a romantic kind of thing. I think. Ao sighed and looked over at Chojuro, who was surely blushing at the mention of romance. Yes, but still, it isn't every day the Azukage gets married and allows no witnesses. I just wish we knew how long they would be without us. One of the hurricanes spoke up, the Uzumaki male. These rituals are very important to the Uzumaki, even the younger generations. They find them interesting and romantic even if some of the past ideals they were made for are forgotten. The older generation still appreciates that they are practiced. The Azukage and his fiancée knew what they were getting into. Ao just huffed and turned his attention back to the sea. Kakashi thought he saw something and lifted his headband up to reveal his Sharingan. A few nearby ninja were surprised to see the rare eye dojutsu but said nothing. Ao activated his Byakugan and searched as well for the returning couple. There they are, he said out loud. He found them returning to the shore within a mile's distance. Yep, guess that means they didn't get swallowed up. Kakashi commented as he placed his headband back over his eye. And that means that our Azukage is married now to his partner. This is wonderful news, said the female Uzumaki hurricane. Her happiness was evident in the lightness of her voice. 000. Azugakure. Azukage office. Next day, Naruto sat in his comfortable chair reviewing some doents sent to him by the civilian government. They were planning on taking a small percentage of workers and use them to build and maintain a trading dock to make things easier as far as moving and receiving goods from other countries. His cage robes made it a bit difficult to move comfortably without messing him up, but Naruto was able to reach over his desk and grab his approve stamp. He neatly placed the labeled doents in the correct bins and saw that he had nothing else to read. Naruto took his hat off and smoothed his hair back. He picked up the picture that stood on his desk. It was taken recently. He along with Mei held the baby and posed for the picture on their balcony. It gave a great background of the green rain forest and it made his heart flutter any time he would look at it. He felt a presence approach and placed the picture back in its place. A messenger quickly entered and bowed to the Azukage. He was a shinobi, a chunin if Naruto had to guess. He held 2 scrolls that were quickly placed on Naruto's desk for him to peruse. What are these? Naruto asked as he picked up one and began to untie it. They are 2 priority messages sent in from ninja observers. The one you are about to read is a message sent from one of our ninja within the land of spring, as well as a letter personally from Daimyo Kazahana. The second is a scroll from our observers within the land of waves. It is a monthly status report. Naruto nodded and opened the scroll he had first chosen to read from his spring observers. Sir, since the last time we have reported in, things have gotten worse here in spring. Daimyo Kazahana at first denied our request for trade because of political instability. It seems that her double duty of both being an actress and a leader was too much for her people to handle, and they have chosen rebellion. A small terrorist group of fanatics are based here within spring. They believe in what Dotu Kazahana once said and believe that the land must return to a snowy wasteland for their ninja to thrive. It has grown in popularity and is now on the verge of violence against Daimyo Kazahana's forces. She has sent me this letter to give to you. Dear Azukage-sama, Naruto, I apologize for not writing sooner, but my country is once again facing a disaster. When you first requested an alliance, I won't lie and say I didn't think it was a joke. But now with your Azu ninja inside my country, they have told me much about your situation back in Azu no Kuni. With your power, I beseech you to help me again as you did 5 years ago. I know I am very undeserving of it, after already being given a second chance by you. If not for me, please bring order to my country for my people. They have seen so much. I don't want to be the cause of more. These rebels, they are threatening to destroy the heat generator, the one thing that brought peace and prosperity back to the land, and they wish to return us to a frozen ball of ice. Please Azukage, come to our rescue. I promise to give you whatever you want in return, just please save my people as you did once before. We will await your response with bated breath, please hurry. Sincerely, Koyuki Kazahana, Daimyo of Land of Spring. Naruto was taken back by what sounded like begging from the strong young woman Naruto had remembered so well from 5 years ago. With the promise of reward great for Azu if he pledged support, Naruto easily decided that he would come to help Koyuki. He moved on to the second and unfurled it to find a short but groundbreaking message. Status report. Azu Outpost. Wave Country. As ordered by Azukage-sama, we have set up a small base of operations in Wave Country. This message is high priority for the fact of what we have found within the small country's borders. The three-tailed turtle is within one of this country's many lakes, wild and without a Jinchuriki. We are requesting advice on how to proceed with this information with the threat of Akatsuki's goal apparent. Naruto reread the line a few times to make sure he did not see wrong. Three-tailed turtle. Because they had found it before Akatsuki, that meant they could do something to halt their advance. He looked up to see that the Chunin was still there, waiting for orders. I need you to go to Anbu headquarters, ask the general to send the beast tamers here immediately. The man stood up and quickly nodded before disappearing in a blur. Naruto sighed and placed his hat back on. Naruto stood up and walked over to his window behind his desk to look outside. He could never get tired of the view, for it was second only to his house's balcony in terms of scope and grandeur. His cage hat hid most of his face as he tipped it down further to keep the glaring sun from his eyes. From behind him, all 6 of the hurricanes appeared, releasing their hiding genjutsu to stand to the front of the Azukage's desk. Sir, one of the asked. The reign of the hurricane, the Hyo clan ice users were known for their and unparalleled use of the ice element. Prepare to leave immediately, we will head to spring and support Daimyo Kazahana. Meanwhile, the beast tamers will move to secure the 3 tails in the nearby country of Wave. His shadows were shocked, he would actually lead them. Sir, wouldn't it be better to send a squad of Anbu or a battalion of regular shinobi to support the country of spring? Why should you have to go personally? Naruto turned from the window and looked at his 6 bodyguards, a smile forming on his face. A Kage must not be afraid to get his hands dirty. Besides, our country is young and our military, while organized, is still sub-par compared to Konoha or Kumo. We are barely a match for a weak power like Suna or Kiri. Every shinobi must do his part. Anyway, Koyuki specifically requested me, and I won't turn down the offer to see her again. If I go, we have a much better chance of working out a diplomatic deal that greatly benefits Izugaku. Understand? His shinobi nodded, although they were still reluctant. They felt 8 new presences and turned to find 8 Anbu kneeling to the Azukage. While they wore Anbu armor, as beast tamers they had a unique style. Their armor was littered with scrolls interlocked through chains, crisscrossing everywhere. Their masks, instead of an animal, were completely blank with not even any eyes to allow the users to see. The leader of the group held a single large scroll on his back the size of a small child, obviously to be used to seal something large. The scroll size is about the same as the scroll Naruto had on during his fight with Pain. "Sir, you called for us," said the leader. It was a man with a brown mane of hair kept in check. Naruto went closer to his desk and threw the scroll with the information from Wave at the man, who caught it deftly as if he could see just fine. He unfurled it and read it with quick and practiced eyes, looking back up at Naruto. "You wish us to capture the three tails before Akatsuki can take it?" asked the man. Naruto smiled at his perception. "Right as always, Akeru. You will be the only ones sent there, though, as you know our manpower is still relatively low. Can you handle yourselves?" The man stood up from his kneeling position and his men followed suit. "Of course, sir, we will get the job done." Naruto smirked. This was the reason why he had created the beast tamers. With the information on Jinchuriki and tailed beast sealing I found within the scroll, I decided to make a special sect of men in Anbu to handle just this kind of operation. They are experts with fuinjutsu and are just as good of fighters as any other Anbu out there. With Akatsuki's threat of using tailed beasts against us, this squad will be a primary source of advantage for Azu in the coming war. Good. Then you are dismissed. Naruto watched as they two disappeared, leaving him with his hurricanes. "Make the preparations. I must go home and spend some time with my wife and little Roshi." Naruto left in a bright flash that signaled to his hurricanes that they were dismissed. 000. Azugakure, Uzumaki Compound. Inner Estate. A few hours later. Naruto had come home and explained the turn of events to Mei, who was very understanding. It didn't mean she had to like the fact that her newly made husband was leaving her and their child so soon, but he always came back. She would just hold out with worry for a few days before he would come home safe and sound. He spent time with both her and the baby until it was late in the evening, almost time for him to leave. He had chosen to travel conspicuously but with a certain power to his outfit. Contrary to hiding like a rat as some ninja or kage would do in the event of traveling to a different country, Naruto chose to wear ninja clothing instead. To lessen the chance of danger, Naruto had chosen to wear identical clothing to his hurricanes. The standard Anbu gear, red sea, arm, and leg armor with black gloves, pants, and sandals. He also took a spare swirl mask to place on when they arrived in spring. He personally didn't like to wear the mask, but the hurricanes never complained. The hurricanes, they are waiting outside. Better hurry. Naruto stuffed the mask into his red cloak's inner pocket before clasping it at the end. He had already placed on his outfit while Mei settled the baby in for bed and prepared for sleep herself. Leaving the closet, Naruto saw a cute sight. His wife was leaning over the crib walls and gently singing a lullaby to little Roshi. He looked into her eyes with love as she returned it. The newlyweds had had plenty of fun the night before and had planned on continuing it, only for him to receive the unfortunate news from Spring and Wave. "You will come back, right, Koi?" Mei asked, already knowing his answer but feeling as though she still needed convincing. Naruto looped his arms around her and held her body close, bringing out a sigh from her. It was a happy sigh, but the sound cracked near the end, showing her tearful concern. "Of course I will. We are married now, remember. I'm stuck with you for the rest of my life." The way he said it made Mei just want to him silly, but she resisted, simply laying a hand on his cheek instead. He gave her one last taste of his mouth before getting up and walking to the door. All the lights within the room were off, and upon opening the door, the hallway light made his figure look like an eerie shadow hanging in the doorway. He looked over his shoulder one last time. "Sweet dreams, you too." He closed the door softly behind him before turning to his 6 hurricanes, who waited obediently for his orders. Naruto took out his red swirl mask and placed it over his face, hiding his idini from all those who would look at them. Let's move out. 000. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.